G'day guys and welcome back to Casual Rage. Prepare to start the show, R2. This is where the fun begins. G'day guys and welcome to Casual Rage 141, where we casually rage out about the topics of the week. And of course, this week, we've got cameos to talk about. We have the Ahsoka episode 4 episode that we are going to be breaking down. Now, don't fret. Anna is on her way. She is literally around the corner. And also Mr. Grant Gregory is on his way too. So he's going to jump in all the way from Mozicon, from Adelaide, where I, after this stream, are pretty much going over to Adelaide. We're going to have some fun over there, the Full Aussie crew. If you don't know, we do have the channel, the Full Aussie. Any mods, if you can drop the link to the Full Aussie channel in the chat. But yeah, we're having a little bit of a Full Aussie meetup, which should be a lot of fun. And of course, it's Moz's birthday, hence Mozicon. So it should be a good time. So this stream today, I thought about it, and I was just going to do the breakdown with Anna and Grant, and I thought that I'll just leave it at that. But I do have some seals of the week. We will do that, and we will watch a couple of Grizzy's videos as well, as we usually do, and then I'll wrap the stream up. So I can't go for a super long time, but we still have plenty of time. I hope you're all doing well. Let's quickly say hello to the chat and see who we've got here. Speak of the devil, Mr. Grant Gregory, and he is here. Let me just give him a little bit of an intro here.
See? My friend.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Going good. I just all the way from Mozicon, and there's the man himself. You're a bitch. Look at ya.
How tall
Fucking
are you?
dog. I can't hear him. Yeah, dude, he's 5'10". No, it's in my head. It's why I've got headphones on. Oh. I didn't realize he was wearing headphones. Yeah.
You're coming in real hot. Let me see if I can turn you
Probably called
down.
me a bitch. Yeah, he said that you're coming in hot. Oh.
That's better.
Thank you. I do look pretty hot. Yeah, we had to go for a 10-kilometer walk because Mozza decided not to bring any winter clothes, and as you can see, this is all of his wet weather gear, and he did bring a comb. So didn't bring a brush.
Typical Queenslander.
Yeah, typical Queenslander, exactly. Fuck you, you're Melbourne.
Yeah, that's why I'll bring winter weather clothes. Anyway, how'd you find this? You watched the episode, obviously.
Yeah, I thought it was dog shit up until the point where Anakin came in for a one scene and then saved Star Wars. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Even though I think they're going to do exactly what they did with Moloch or Morrick or whatever his name is, it'll turn out that the whole Anakin thing will be a nothing burger. It'll just purely be it'll be an apparition. He'll disappear, and I'll never mention it again.
Yeah, well, we will get to that because there's actually a lot
It's called
to break
time zone,
down
right?
with that one scene. So, yeah, get Mozza out of there. All right, let me quickly go through. Mozza's just there interrupting as he does. Let me go through the rest of the chat here. We got Mr. Bentham for 5 says, I said it from the beginning. There's no way Disney knew, who Starkiller was. Well, I think they know who Starkiller is, but making him like Starkiller, like the proper Starkiller, no way. And what we got was a fart cloud. Great job, Disney. Never disappoint. Yes, that's very true. They never disappoint with their what do you call it? Like
Use your words.
I'm trying to think of the word. They always bring stuff like to the table, and then they subvert the expectations, of course. So
they're non-committal. That's the problem. They'll tease you with something, but they don't have the fortitude to go through with it. They're not going to really bring Anakin back, because if they do, then that's going to drastically change the world. And as you know, Filoni wouldn't do that because that's rude.
Yeah, no, that is very rude. I've actually got to clip that out. I've actually got a couple of theories in regards to the Anakin stuff, but we'll get to that. Thank you, Mr. Bantham. Let me bring in.
Hello, what have we here?
Aww.
Hello, Anna. How you doing?
Hey. Okay. Did you guys just start, or have you been going for an hour? Because my little counter says you've been going for an hour already.
We've been going for 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
What the heck? All right. My computer's weird.
That's weird.
I was like, am I really an hour late?
No. I just sent you a message saying I'm going to go. Just jump in when you're ready. Yeah.
I was like, oh, am I crazy? I don't know. But hello, everyone. What did you guys think of the episode?
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Star Wars is saved.
Can you tell him I really liked Anakin?
Yeah, Mozza said he loved Anakin. His favorite bit.
And tell him episode 5 is in cinema, so my theory of every episode 5 being the best is true.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, we heard him.
I watched it in cinema. 3D, IMAX.
Tell him to stop talking.
Here. There you go. Say hello to Anna. I am going to go watch Ahsoka. Hello. I'm going to go watch Ahsoka IMAX 3D in the cinema. Let's go, boys.
Why are you guys together hanging out?
We're at MozzaCon.
We got a meetup happening this weekend. So after this stream, I'm jumping on a plane and going to Adelaide. It's Mozza's birthday tomorrow, but it's a bit of a full Aussie meetup. Blabs is down from America as well, so we're all saying hello and actually meeting for the first time. So that should be good. Yeah.
You guys will find out for real who's the tallest.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, so far it's Blabs is the shortest, and it's me. So I'm hoping I'm at least a little bit taller than Rhino. Otherwise, I'm
We'll see. We're gonna actually, because Mozza actually has no idea how tall he is, we're doing a video called Measuring Mozza.
Ah.
Yeah.
Do that in school?
Yeah, I don't know. He's too young to have done that in school. I think he was learning about pronouns.
Oh, yeah. That's much more important than your height and all that stuff.
Yep. Let me quickly go through and say hello to the rest of the chat, because I've literally mentioned 2 people. We've got Corey, we've got Fractured Filter, Star Wars Marvel Purist, how you doing? Holocron Library Fox, how you doing? Patrick T is in the chat. How you doing, Patrick? Good to see you as well. John 42, how you doing? I don't even know how to say that name properly. Oh, man. Hello. Thank you for being here. Excuse my dyslexia and my retardedness. Superman 82, Sith Assassin Trailer, how you doing? Pro Jack fan. Razvan, how you doing? Good to see you. Blake is in the chat. I just saw Blake. Blake is meeting us in at MozzaCon as well. Riff Magos, how you going? All the members. Thank you again for your membership, your support. I really appreciate it. Alora's in the chat. Please do smash that like button. Appreciate that. Let's see. Melissa Lord is here as well. Mike Hill, great member and great supporter, and he helps me a lot with these streams by sending me a lot of stuff, so much stuff that I can't ever actually touch on everything that he sends me. He says, "Hail Rhino, bow down to the great and powerful Dave Filoni, the savior of Star Wars." Well, thanks for the $10, but there will be no bowing down to.
No, we got to bow, man. That's my dog right there.
Bow. The Nuisance Bird is in the chat. How you doing, Nuisance Bird? Good to see you as well. Soul Assassin, Morgoth with the W. Let me just scroll down a little bit more here. Fear of FEMA. How you all going? Good to see you all. Thank you all for being. Chaos Hoy, good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. All right. If I didn't mention you, thank you again for being here. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, lurking, watching, chatting, supporting, all of that good stuff. Please smash that like button. All right. Well, Anna asked a question. What did we think of the episode? Mozza was the main one that answered it, and he can't even hear what Anna's saying. So I'm going to just give you my thoughts on the episode really quickly. I thought it was the best episode out of all the 4 episodes that we've had, but that's not saying much. And it's the best because there's not a lot of actual dialogue, right? The best part of the episode is Baylan. He's the best character in the entire series. He holds the screen really well. His presence is quite good. There was a couple of parts of Baylan's conversation with Ahsoka that I really fucking hate. And I will get to it. Well, let me just tell you, I hate the fact that, first of all, we've got another Jedi survivor. But second of all, it's the fact that so many people now know that Vader was Anakin. You've got Reva. You've got all these characters that just know that Anakin was Vader or Vader was Anakin. And when you actually go through the EU or even just the novelizations of the movies, there were only 2 people in the entire galaxy that knew that Vader was Anakin. And the people had some suspicions, like Thrawn and a couple of others, but the main 2 people that knew was Palpatine and Vader himself. That was it. The way that Palpatine explains what happened to Anakin is that he died a hero of the Republic, right? Protecting the Republic, protecting Palpatine. The Jedi killed Anakin. And Vader just comes out of nowhere. He's his new enforcer, all of that sort of thing. So I hate the fact that you've got another character now that just happens to know that Vader was Anakin. But when it comes down to it, none of the stupid that happens throughout this episode to the SEALs out there matters because you got your cameo at the end. It's the best episode of Star Wars we've ever had because of Anakin coming in at the end, and all the other.
I agree. Yep, that's true.
Shut up, Grant. All the other stuff just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. People ignore. They turn their brains off and ignore the stupid shit because they get their flashy cameo, because they get their flashy lightsaber fights. Oh, this is what lightsaber fights are supposed to be. I'm sorry, but those lightsaber fights were piss poor. They were shit. Now, if you look at the TV shows and everything that they've come out with and the lightsaber fights that we've had in Disney's canon, yeah, okay, they stack up as probably some of the better ones, but they are still, I think, personally, poorly executed, poorly choreographed, and slow. I felt they were still really slow. Anyway, that's my initial thoughts just on the episode. Anna, go for it. What do you think?
I agree with you that the most interesting part of the episode was Baylan. And I don't understand why these characters don't do any type of like recon. So it's like, oh, you knew Anakin. Tell me more. Tell me more about yourself and the Jedi Order. I think Balin is the most interesting character because he gets so little dialogue, and because they can't fuck him up, right? If you don't explain anything, then there's nothing you can poke holes in. I understand him saying, as far as when he started bringing up Anakin, it's like, well, yeah, everybody knew that that Ahsoka was Anakin's Padawan. So that okay, he could have known that.
But he says you didn't get to see what he became. Like the fact that he says you didn't get to see what he became.
Yeah.
Like,
was he just talking about Order 66 though? That's what I was thinking.
No, like I didn't get it. That I didn't find that it was that.
It really seemed like he knew that Anakin became Vader, and it's like, okay, where the fuck have you been then all of this time, man? What the hell have you been doing? I would have understood a little. I was like, okay, maybe he left. Maybe they're going to do something smart and say, yeah, I left right around the time that you did because I saw that there was problems and nobody was speaking up about it. So I got the hell out of there, and that's why he survived. Ask him, and he's like, I'm glad that I did because of Order 66. Did he say any of that? No. So he's interesting, but I think it's because they haven't elaborated anything on him aside from that little nugget, and I think they only had that thrown in there was so that way he could say Anakin, and it was, a little tiny bit of foreshadowing to what was going to happen in the end of the episode. But when I was watching that fight between him and Ahsoka, I understand he's no longer with us. I don't think he was that old, but he moved so slowly and he kept turning his back to her. I'm like, how are any of these people still alive based on the way that they fight? Sabine and Blondie literally stopped fighting so Sabine can talk to Ahsoka. Blondie could have killed her. Sabine could have shot her in the face. I'm like, what am I watching? Look, here are all the incidents when you could have killed this person, and nobody dies except Ahsoka falls off the mountain. It was frustrating. And then
go on.
So they introduced the holdo maneuver, right? Like that's the big thing, that you can go through hyperspace and you could kill everyone by ramming your ship through hyperspace through another ship, which is not how it works. But then in this episode, magically the holdover maneuver doesn't exist anymore because Hera's ship and all of the X-Wings, they're literally in the direct path of a hyperspace jump, and two of them die?
I know this isn't how it works, but this is how they're going to justify it, right? Is that it's a ring, right? The ship went through the middle of the ring. So the ring went around the ships, but it created a vortex and it fucked up everyone's ships except for Hera's and Space Miyagi's.
So like a space bubble?
Yeah, sort of. But like that's how they're going to justify that. That's how, it wasn't solid. It wasn't solid matter going through solid matter when you think about it. It was the ring.
It's the path. But just the force. I know, not like the force physically, like the way nobody has. I don't think anyone writing for Disney has taken a single physics class. That's literally not how it works. If you're in a car accident, you yourself is not getting hit by the other car. Your car is getting hit by the car. You're still going to feel something and you're probably going to die. If it's like that, if it's a head-on collision like that, there's no way they should have been alive.
I just want to go back to when you were mentioning Blondie and Sabine fighting and how they stopped to have a conversation. Sabine and that they stopped to have a conversation with Ahsoka. So the fact that Ahsoka, she goes, "I've got this," and Ahsoka runs away. Like just a couple of episodes ago, Sabine, you were stabbed and essentially should have been killed by this character, and now you're all of a sudden got this. Like,
not only that, it's like, no. The map isn't moving, right? This is a bad chick that has already tried to kill you once. Why don't both of you take her on? You don't have to kill her. You could take her as a fucking prisoner and get information out of her. They're so stupid. And then once they capture her, Sabine can take her back to the ship and Ahsoka can go get the map. Or they can call David Tennant up and say, hey, David Tennant, come get this prisoner that's tied up right here and take her back to the ship, and she can't mind control you because you're a robot.
Droid. Yeah.
But don't you're using logic in a Star Wars thing, and in Disney Star Wars that doesn't work. Like, and the reason why they weren't going to kill each other is because I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter. They're girlfriends now.
Oh
so,
yeah. Even Sabine is trying to get to her love interest, which is Ezra.
Shin Bean. That's what they're going to ship them as. So this is what Star Wars is now. This is who Star Wars is for those people that actually sit there and ship these characters together. And the amount of mental gymnastics that people are going through right now to try and explain and justify how certain parts of this episode work proves to me that there's no way that this could be a 10 out of 10 episode. I don't care what Star Wars Theory says. He's the biggest channel out there, yes. But I'm sorry, he is clouded by his Filoni boner. He honestly is. He thinks that Dave Filoni is this almighty God and savior of Star Wars. And Filoni is far from it. And I think the evidence of that is in what we're seeing. The 4 episodes that we've had so far, he's written all 4 episodes. He's written the entire series, the entire 8 episodes, right? Just different directors coming in, directing them. But he's not, it hasn't been good. I don't care what anyone says. This has been, even in this episode, there's still moments where it's just stoic conversation. There's this one bit. Oh, look, we'll get to it. Let me just hit these super chats really quickly. We had Patrick T for 2 say Yoda and Obi-Wan knew Anakin was Vader. Yes, sorry, I made a mistake.
I think he means people alive, right?
Well, Yoda and
bad guys,
Obi-Wan,
right?
Yeah, I'm talking about within sort of the Empire and stuff. No senators knew, no, like, the explanation.
And at the end of it, the only people that were left alive that knew was Luke and Leia. Correct. And it's up to them if they want to tell people that their dad was Darth Vader.
Well, it wasn't even really Leia up until Return of the Jedi when
well, that's what I'm saying.
Luke tells
After
her.
Return of the Jedi.
Well, Kylo knows as well.
Oh, that's
would know because she told him that Luke's her brother.
That's true. After Return of the Jedi, if you look within, bless you, if you look within the EU, it was still Luke and Leia never really told people that Vader was their dad and was Anakin Skywalker. It was always this secret. I will say in Disney's canon, in their new Thrawn trilogy, it wasn't the Thrawn trilogy. It was Bloodlines. In the Bloodlines novel, they made some senators, and he announces it to the entire Senate that Leia is the son of Vader, and it gets announced to everybody. So within their canon, yeah, maybe the entire galaxy knew that. So thank you, Patrick, for the $2. Appreciate that. We've got Lethal Lightning over at Mozzicon. What up? Film Actors Guilds. I'm not going to say
Roll your dog.
Roll your dog. How you doing, dude? See, I see a couple of people giving this episode a rating out of 10 in the chat. There's Patrick there with a 3 out of 10. I don't like rating stuff like this because then as soon as you give this, let's say this episode a rating, and then you it's all based on just your own thoughts and opinions of it, yes, but it gets used against you. Like, you know, I must admit, I use it against Star Wars Theory all the time. How can you sit there and say, oh, this episode was boring and slow, but it's a 8 out of 10? Like, I don't really want to rate these episodes. I just think that it's just garbage Star Wars. It's garbage. Did you want to give it a rating, Anna, at all?
No, I don't typically ever rate anything. I can pinpoint things that are good and things that are bad, but I would have to be given a guide on this is what you rate them on, because everybody rates things differently. So I don't even think that that's a good analysis, because I would need to know the person and what their standards are. Because if they say the only thing they're interested in is the visual effects and they're going to rate, but they don't like that's their internal, like, this is what I'm rating on because that's all they care about. All they care about is their feelings and how it looks. That's completely different than I'm going to rate this on the science of the universe, the canon that I already knew previously. So it really depends. But I mean, I know you bring it up a lot. I don't go and look and see what other people say about it. I just say like my own opinion on it. So when it comes to what other people say about the show, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't really care about what other people say. I care about how I feel and what I think, and people that I actually know and like think.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, when it comes to seeing what other people say about it, the only ones that I ever go, because I'll always watch it. I'll always watch it before I go and see what other people think. I don't want to be intimidated or persuaded in a certain way. Not that I really can be, but I don't want it to, like, if let's say I was to go and see what Star Wars Theory has to say about it, I might go even harder because I want to counteract that based on
because you're doing a counter review versus a review of the episode.
Yeah, so I don't really like. I'll always watch it first, and then I'll always go back and see. Now, when it comes to like somebody like Star Wars Theory and his watch party, I won't sit there and watch his whole watch, but I'll just go to the end and see what he basically thought of the episode. And the only real reason why I go to him is because I used to be a subscriber. I used to like his content, and I do think that he knows Star Wars. The problem is that, like I said, he seems to have this massive Filoni boner at the moment that they could put literal, like if it was written and directed by Dave Filoni and they were to put shit, like a literal pile of shit on the screen, he would give it a 10 out of 10. Like, that's how I see it at the moment.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like, it's an episode of Baby Yoda playing with shit, and I'm going to like it because it's Baby Yoda, you know? It's everyone's thing. I don't know. Maybe it's just not something that I find important.
But when you know the lore and you know Star Wars as well as somebody like he does, and I think he does, I think he should be a little bit more like, I know he's an Anakin fanboy, and again, it's all because of that final scene. Like we get to that final scene and it's like, okay, all the rest of the stupid doesn't matter anymore.
That's their formula because it works for people. It doesn't matter what happens. You could have literally a dog shit episode, but you have a quote unquote cool cameo or cool thing at the end, and that's all people have. Recency bias is a huge thing, and when people go back and watch it, they're only watching that scene. They're not going back and they're not watching the stupid thing where the guy was just green goo or whatever it was, or magic, or like, yeah, it's complete. It's a formula that works, so they're never going to change it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's,
also, if I was to rate it, I would like legitimately give probably about maybe 2.5 to 3 out of 10 because I rate things as soon as something I don't like, I knock it down like 0.1 or 2 points. There was just so much dumb stuff with this episode.
It was.
Can I ask, since they
and also, did you notice that the Anakin thingy? I don't even know if it was him. He didn't have a scar on his face.
No, he does, but they moved it again. If you look close enough, it's there. It's very, very.
No,
it's because
I watched
of the
it. I rewound it and I looked at it again. I went, okay, it's not there. I had
to zoom in really hard for for my thumbnail because I used it, and I was trying to turn up like the gain and just make it so it was a better, clear picture. I didn't see it.
Oh, it's there.
Oh no!
But like I said,
trust Anna.
When we get to it, I'll see if I can. It's the problem is it's very dark. It's a very dark room that they're in, so it's harder to see.
Everything's dark. That's Star Wars now.
The problem is it should actually be like over his eye, right? That's the whole thing. Yeah. It should be actually over his eye. It's actually next to his eye, and like really, they moved it. It's there, but it's not really there. Anyway, Anna, what were you going to say?
I don't remember. Okay. Yeah, it's on the edge of his eyebrow.
Yeah. It's there. It's so funny that where's his scar? Like that was a big thing going on out there. Where's the scar? They didn't even put the scar in there.
That's not, when they deliberately change something like that, it makes me think that it's not. Yeah, that's not Anakin. That it's some weird apparition, or it's just going to be a nothing burger.
This is the thing too, though. I gotta ask.
Well,
Like,
do you think that they moved it because this isn't actually Anakin? It's her imagination.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I think.
Well, and she didn't, because she left before he got the scar. So when she remembers him, he doesn't have it. But then he also has a different hairstyle and outfit.
Did he fall off a cliff too to get there? Is that how you do it now?
I've got a massive theory, but I want to wait. I don't want to put it out there yet. In regards to that.
Sorry, Rhino. We've just got a message. I've got to head off. We're going bowling.
Oh, without me?
Yeah,
right,
without
bowling.
you.
They've been to the
so
Lego
we'll go
store.
bowling again tomorrow.
They've been to the Lego store twice without me. How fucking dare
me
they?
and Mozza went to the Star Wars Lego store this morning.
Yeah, I saw that.
How many Lego stores do you guys have?
Yeah, it was crazy. So, yeah. All right, thanks for having me. Oi, Blake, get out of your room and come meet us. So,
where is he?
Catch us later.
Bye.
I am going to.
You know what's funny is you have a meetup to go to, and so do I, because Chrissy and everyone is in town, and my guest canceled tonight, so I asked Cecil if he could host Jacksha so I could go out with them. So after the show, you and I are both running off.
What, that chick, did she cancel?
Yeah, she said that she had a family emergency, and she's like, I can do next week. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, oh, it's fine.
Are you sure it wasn't because she watched last week's Jack show?
Dude, I fucking hope not. Oh my God. I'm just not going to tell anyone who the guest is until after the week before show is off air, because I don't need anyone scaring my guests away.
And don't let Truck out on when she's on.
Yeah, I think that is a unanimous thing now. He can't meet the pretty lady guest.
No.
I think he was the only one that was pissed off when he found out. It's like, oh, this thing that everybody knew.
Yeah. All right, let's go through the episode a little bit here. Let me bring this up. Okay, so you guys are again, we do the stream a couple of days after, so there's been a lot of streams, a lot of talking about the episode, so you probably know the basic gist of it by now. But basically, they're trying to repair the ship. Ahsoka has a conversation with Sabine about how they can't allow them to get thrown back. So we've got to do what we can to, if we can't get the map, then nobody should get the map. So we should destroy it. And you can sort of see that Sabine's not really too happy about that. But Ahsoka asks, can I trust you? And Sabine goes, yeah, of course you can trust me. That's basically the gist of this little conversation that happens in here. And this is where we get the drop of the heir to the Empire.
Yeah, that was so annoying.
How do you feel about that? Like, I mean, there's a video from, and I've been playing it in my reviews from 7 years ago, where Dave Filoni talks about bringing people and characters in from the EU and adapting those characters, and how if you're not going to do it based on the character and based on the books, it's rude. He actually says that.
I haven't. Do you have that clip? Can you play it?
Yep. Hold on. Let me.
So this is just like my own little pet peeve. I've never cared for Dave Filoni, and his voice everything about him bothers me. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that he wears a cowboy hat when he's not a real cowboy, his weird fetish with wolves. I've just never cared for him. I think maybe the first thing I learned about him was about how Ahsoka was supposed to die, and George said that, and he's like, never mind.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I don't like this guy. So I don't really watch any of his stuff unless it goes viral. And maybe I should.
This is from 7 years ago when he was doing the Rebels, and he was having a conversation about like Thrawn in Rebels and stuff like that. And this is what he has to say.
So if we're going to do an admiral, if we're going to do a big military leader, yeah, I could create a new guy, sure. But what about Thrawn? Thrawn is great. Thrawn is a character we all know. Thrawn has a lot of credibility. So then you ask yourself, is it right to use him? And can we use him in a way that's similar to the books? Or are we using him and it's going to go completely into left field? And there have been
times. Pause it real fast. Doesn't he give you that vibe? Like he has a Barbie doll and he has a tiny hairbrush and he brushes its hair?
Yep. Yes.
I don't know. why I see people and I get this instant vibe like this is what you do in your free time. But anyways, continue.
Use things from the EU, and I was like, yeah, but we can't use it that way. So why? I don't want to use it and change it. You know, I don't want to use it and make it something completely different. That's rude.
Wow.
So I wonder what's changed in that 7 years, guys. Because he's completely changing the character of Thrawn. He's completely changing the EU and the stories from the EU with what he is currently creating. So he, in his own words, he is being rude. What a rude piece of shit. Disloyal and rude. Let me quickly hit this. Future Caveman for 5. I saw Filoni Seals saying they're altered Anakin's appearance so he looks more like he did in the Clone Wars cartoon. Thoughts? Well, see, this is where I like headcanon isn't a thing. Canon is created by the creators that are actually making it, and they can try and explain and justify things the way that they want to. It's kind of like how there was a lot of this talk about, oh, has he got Anakin's lightsaber or has he got Darth Vader's lightsaber? Well,
oh my God.
Darth Vader didn't have Darth Vader's lightsaber until after he was in the suit. He still fought Obi-Wan on Mustafar with Anakin's lightsaber, right? So if he is dressed like that, how could he possibly have Vader's lightsaber? You know what I mean? Like, I just that to me is a nothing burger that people are just trying to put attention on that so that they ignore the rest of, again, the stupid. It's like, oh my God, does he have Anakin's lightsaber or is it Vader's lightsaber? No one cares. No one cares. And Mr. Grant Gregory for 5 says, roll your dog. Make sure you get here safely, bro. I will. Also, wear something slutty. Okay. I'll wear something slutty.
Who's all going to be at your meetup?
So obviously it's in Lethal's home state. So we're going over there. Blabs is down from the States. There's Mozart, Grant, myself. Blake's over there right now. There's a couple of people that live in Adelaide that I believe are coming and saying hello. We're going to the zoo, I think, and there's going to be a few things that we're going to be doing. I don't know who else, if anyone else is actually coming. I think there's a couple of others, but I don't know. Mud Crab, I think. Obviously, the Full Aussie isn't nowhere near as big as some of the bigger channels out there, so it's not like this massive like meetup thing. But because Blabs was coming over, we thought we'd put this together, and it was also Moz's birthday, so yeah. So it's just a small little meetup. All right, let's go back to this. So yes, Ahsoka drops the heir of the Empire, which is rude. And then they go back inside to repair the ship while the droid stays outside. I don't even remember. Oh, that's right. She tells Marok, and Shin to go and find them. Or they found them, and they've told them to go and take care of it with the rest of their droids and whatever. And then this droid sort of fixes the ship. Oh, this is where the conversation takes place. David Tennant. Sabine is like all flustered. She can't find her cartridge for one of her blasters, and Ahsoka's like, "Are you okay?" And this is like where there's a lot of pauses in the dialogue. A lot of fucking pauses in the dialogue. How do you feel so far about this stoic, dramatic pause dialogue is?
It's boring.
It really is. And it's like, I'm sitting there going, can you guys please just have a normal conversation? Can we just have a conversation where we just bounce off each other as opposed to, oh, I'm fine.
Like, I get it. I think I showed you that clip where it's Ahsoka saying the whatchamacallit, that like, or that she can't move her forehead.
Yep.
She's got the piece on it, so she's a little bit more stoic. And I was like, well, you can still move the rest of your face, can't you? It's just not like them. And I'm like, your waist, I get it. You want to have dramatic pauses. Leave that for the end. Like, this should be, if anything, if you're not even speaking with words, like, use your eyes, use body language, which obviously Rosario Dawson is limited on. But Sabine isn't exactly the most stoic character. She's very sarcastic, and she'll make her, facial reactions. So this whole, like, let's just do this awkward silence, tiptoeing around things. And I'm like, whoever wrote this episode, Dave Filoni, doesn't know how women act and doesn't know how human beings interact with each other. It just... When you're with animation, animators will get the script and then they go in and they animate it, and they can add those little eyebrow motions or like lip pursing and just make it more real. And that's what's making me realize about Rebels is that I think the animators, whoever was animating the characters' faces, added more to the characters, because if you just look and read the scripts and like the dialogue, it can be a lot like this, except it's faster because they're very limited on time and they have to have a certain amount come out by the end, and they have to have certain things happen. So it's more structured. And I think a lot of people work a lot better under pressure. And so instead of saying, hey, do whatever you want, you get shit like this, or you could be under pressure and you have people that you have to answer to, and you can have something that's actually quite decent when you have creative people doing things. But both of these actresses, I've seen Rosario Dawson be great in things. So it's such a disappointment. To my knowledge, I've never seen the chick that plays Sabine in anything else. But
I will say, in regards to like the Rebels, right? These characters don't align with their Rebel animated counterparts in regards to the way they act, the way they speak, all of that sort of thing. Now, in regards to the headpiece thing that Rosario Dawson, I think I mentioned this last week, but in regards to that headpiece and everything and how it's made it limited for her to be able to have movement and everything, can we just do the same sort of thing that they did with Snoke? I mean, they've got enough money. They're spending enough money on this thing. Can't they just do the whole dots thing with that helmet camera thing and actually then just CGI the lacquer and everything on her face? Like, why does it need to actually be this headpiece that looks like styrofoam?
Oh, I know. Cosplayers can do this better. I don't know if you guys saw that there's like a cosplay Ahsoka show with that one chick. She can actually, that's all makeup. Like, she goes through hours and hours of makeup to look like Ahsoka. Let me see if I can find her. Let's see. It's like an Ahsoka short fan film. And I mean, she doesn't really have, I think she makes a great Ahsoka. Of course, Rosario Dawson looks like the animated Ahsoka, which is, why she is in the role. But, I mean, this girl does a good job. Let me find her.
Just not as skinny. Rosario Dawson isn't as skinny as the animated counterpart.
Yeah, but I mean...
But I think the animated stuff can be exaggerated too, a little bit. I just want to touch on this question. Did Tarkin know that Anakin was Darth Vader? He was one of those people that had a massive suspicion but never actually knew. Didn't explicitly know. No. Okay,
here we go. Share my screen.
Yeah.
Is this chick?
Oh, yeah, I've seen her. Yeah.
Yeah, so her headpiece matches the animation, but I think it's like paper mache, so it doesn't move. But I think I watched something on YouTube or Instagram where she does the makeup, because this isn't a headpiece, that's painted on her actual forehead. So she can move her face and have emotion. Rosario Dawson, if you ever watch Rent, she is very good at making every single facial expression under the goddamn sun. So just paint her down. You already painted her skin. Just finish painting her forehead. Have her, thin out her eyebrows. You're paying her what? Couple $100,000 per episode. Wax that bitch's eyebrows off and just put the makeup on her. It's really not that difficult, and then you can actually act. It's such a waste that they have such a good actress playing this character and she's playing it like a rock.
Yeah. Again, an unemotional rock. Let me get these really quickly. So Patrick T. What?
Mosquito.
Oh, I can see how. Wow.
Look at that one.
We talk about how big our mosquitoes are. How big are your mosquitoes?
These are the tiny ones. That's how they're able to get around. It's driving me crazy. I have one on my back. I have 3 on my leg. I have one on each arm. This
Get one of those coil things in your room and burn it.
Right above me.
Oh, no shit.
So there used to be big ones in here, and then I have fans on me, and so that makes it so they can't fly. But now it's the tiny ones, the mini mosquitoes, and for some reason the fans don't affect them. The only reason I was able to get the last one I was having a feud with was because it got stuck in the candle wax. I have the candle lit. Apparently these other ones have learned. I have this in here. Nothing.
Jesus.
It's driving me crazy. It's like I'm in a swamp in Florida.
Yeah. Patrick T for 5 says OG Star Wars fans hated the re-edits, re-releases, original content 100%. Why would they like any of this 100%? With no, there were parts of some of the remakes or the special editions. There were a couple of bits that I didn't mind. But majority of them, yeah, I absolutely hated. And also, Arboru on Streamlabs for 20 says, did Grant and Mozza leave their makeup artist behind? Yeah. Thank you, Arboru. I appreciate you. You're a legend. Okay. Let me go back here. All right. So let me see if I can...
Don't worry about me. I'm not. Good. Should I be? What? Worried.
Yeah, but even just that pause in there. Should I be? What? Worried. Like, oh. Anyway, I just, it's so boring and slow, and the dialogue just seems so monotone and so consistently the same. There's no emotion in it whatsoever.
Nope.
This pause here.
I know how much Ezra means.
Nope. And then just wait like 5 seconds. I know how much Ezra means to you. Anyway, so yeah, I hate the dialogue and I hate the pauses in the dialogue. It drives me up the wall. Mike Hill for 5 says, Anna gave a great idea for Rosario's next role, playing Geode in a live action High Republic movie. Yeah, just put all this shit on her face. Fucking Geode. Anyway, so. While they're in there having this discussion about Ezra, this droid, David Tennant, gets attacked, and he pulls the plug on the ship so that they get alerted. Now, I had a little bit of an issue with this. Why can't Ahsoka sense what's going on outside the ship? Why did the David Tennant droid need to pull the plug on the power for Ahsoka to realize that they're under siege or under attack?
I know. You think that they couldn't hear the literal gunfire or sense the droids or any kind of movement at all? It's so stupid. They just needed to give him a suspenseful scene. It's dumb. But you know what? All this does is prove that Disney Star Wars, that women they want to have whammon and everything, but they're so incompetent at the literal thing that they've been training to do their entire life that you can't sense the bad guys zoning in on you. It's so like Luke Skywalker could sense Han Solo getting tortured from across the galaxy, but Ahsoka can't sense that there's a droid outside their door. How stupid!
Or not even sensing the droid. It's sensing, like you're saying, all these people, because they're not all droids.
Yeah, no, the freaking bad guys.
The bad guys are closing in on them. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. You've just actually lowered how powerful Ahsoka actually is in this moment. And you're right. Luke was able to sense Han being tortured across the galaxy. Now, yes, he had an emotional connection to him, but you've still got to think that this Jedi can sense what's going on around them. Like even at the beginning of The Phantom Menace, when Obi-Wan's talking to Qui-Gon and says he senses a disturbance or whatever, it's out there, it's elusive, right? He's sensing the Force. He's sensing things going on around him. This is literally around their ship, and she can't even sense that they're about to be under siege or they're about to be under attack. It's so stupid. Now, the one thing that I will say that I kind of didn't mind in this scene was that Sabine actually acted like a Mandalorian. She actually used a lot of her Mandalorian stuff in her for all her Mandalorian weaponry in her arsenal to help her in this fight. Now, I also want to point out, though, that this whole Beskar stopping blaster bolts and stuff like this, like I thought Beskar was supposed to be, it's the most common rare metal in the Star Wars galaxy, right? I don't believe that all Mandalorian armor was made of Beskar, right? There was... because I know Boba Fett's armor was actually made from Durasteel. Is that what they call it? Not Beskar. But, Sabine gets shot at. She puts up her things. She blocks the shots. And then Ahsoka essentially helps her out. So, now that they've created Beskar with, the Mandalorian and how it just creates plot armor for them, that's the best that they can do. So David Tennant gets up, says, this is going to set me back. And now this is where I actually laughed in this moment in my review, right? Because David Tennant says to these two, just do one thing for me, stick together, right? And the moment he said that, I was like, they're not, right? Like I knew it straight away. I'm like, they're gonna split up. They're not gonna stay together at all.
Of course.
He goes, oh, you work better together, so stay together.
No, they don't. What have they done together aside from argue? Nothing. They don't do anything together. This drives me crazy. Like, they don't work well together. No. It's stupid.
Yeah. So they run off while David Tennant's trying to fix the droid. And then we cut to Hera. Oh, the ghost. Oh, look, it's the ghost. Oh, my God, it's the ghost. So Hera decides she's being told that she can't leave without clearance or she can't leave without permission. And the immediate thing that I thought is, okay, even though Hera is a general of the New Republic, she can't jump in her ship and just go somewhere, help her friends out? She's not allowed to without permission from senators? Okay, that seems a little bit tyrannical in my eyes, but whatever.
Again, there's somebody that she could call that owes her a fucking favor that is kind of a big deal. I don't know. Who is that person? Oh, yeah, Princess fucking Leia.
And where is Leia? Where is Leia? Where is Luke during all of this?
No idea.
No idea. But the fact that she even takes Jason with her, it's like, okay, all right, we know you want to reference Rebels. We know you want to, all the SEALs out there to clap and everything. But wouldn't it be safer for Jason when you're going to an unknown, basically an unknown Imperial base, you could say, base of construction to go and help your friends that have been, that are under siege, that you lost communication with, thinking that, okay, they're jamming us, there must be something going on, and you decide to take your son with you as opposed to leaving it with the New Republic fleet, leaving him with the New Republic fleet. Like, come on. It's also that he can say, I have a bad feeling about this. And maybe in an episode coming up, he's going to be able to use the Force to repair the ship or something like that, because his dad was Force sensitive, and then again, all the SEALs will clap. But I thought this was stupid, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, you're going anyway. That's fine, right? But then it's the fact that she even takes TIE fighters, X-Wings with her. She's got basically an entire fleet of X-Wings that go with her. If I can fucking find the shot. And Space Miyagi. How do you feel about Space Miyagi being in this?
I don't understand why he's in there. I think the oldest, I was trying to think back on, the original and how the oldest person that was there. I mean, they're all British and they're all back in the 70s, so everyone kind of aged faster back then. Like if you watch Dr. No with Sean Connery, like he's 29 years old. I'm like, that motherfucker looks closer to 40 than 29. But so I'm like, I feel bad saying this, but he is too old to be sitting in an X-Wing for, I don't know, that much time that it would take to go across hyperspace. He's too old. You need to get somebody younger.
Mm-hmm. But see, for me, it's another indication of how small they are making the Star Wars universe, right? Like you couldn't find another X-Wing squadron leader you couldn't employ, like, because as they're all checking in, you've got all these new pilots that are checking in. Let me see if I can, hang on. I think it's, anyway, it goes through and flashes through all the X-Wing pilots as they're sort of checking in, right?
He's that old and he's still flying X-Wing. He's not very good at his job. He should have been promoted to a higher ranking official. Mm-hmm. Like the reason why X-Wing pilots are younger, well, in the rebellion, it was people that were, leaving and it was all scrambled together. So now that the New Republic, I mean, this isn't, it just started. It's been going on for over 5-10 years now. Because there was Rebels and maybe 5 years, 5 or 6 between, we'll just say 5 to 7 years, because they are not clear on the timeline at all. So they should have had a lot, instead of entering the Empire now, all the new people that are joining the military are joining the New Republic. So you should have a whole batch of young recruits. And there should be definitely more aliens, because the reason why the Empire didn't have very many aliens, the reason why the only damn alien when they got power was Thrawn, was because the Emperor hated aliens.
That's right.
And so it should be full of young adults and aliens.
Yep.
But it's not. It's like, oh, here's a bunch of old men that grew up liking Star Wars and they want to have cameos because they're friends with Dave Filoni. It's it's just stupid. That Mr. Miyagi should have his own damn ship. Not an X-Wing. He should have a big ship and he should be in charge. He should be at least Hera's equal, if not her superior. The fact that Hera is in her 30s and she's higher ranking than that old guy, I'm like, all right. There's a point when you're in the service when if you're not going to grow, they either, you dishonorably discharged or you get sat behind a desk. They're not going to put somebody that old out in the front line of duty. That's stupid. That's irresponsible. And I mean, that's just asking to get the guy killed unless there's this magical thing called plot armor. Then he's fine.
But see, they can't make him like a general or anything because this essentially crosses over with the Mandoverse stuff or the Mandalorian, and he's just still an X-Wing pilot in that. But okay, in this scene here, so essentially, being that they're leaving, she's taking X-Wing pilots with her, essentially a part of the fleet with her, a squadron of the fleet with her, without permission, without authorization and everything, means that every single one of these pilots and Hera herself will be court-martialed when they get back. If there are no consequences to this, if they ever get back, because also, too, the fact that Hera's gone there now and most of them die, right, because of the hyperspace jump, the failed holdo maneuver, right, means that Hera is now responsible for the deaths of X-Wings pilots that weren't authorized and loss of ships that Hera wasn't authorized to take out. Now, what would have been better to do in this scene, it's kind of like when in Rogue One, right, when they don't get permission to go and do this strike on Scarif or whatever, and they go anyway, right? But before they all go, it's kind of like, we don't have authorization to do this. It's completely up to you. I can't order you to do it or anything. If you want to come with us, take one step forward sort of thing. and then, they get to decide. It's almost like, no, I'm just going to take a fleet of a squadron of I keep saying that, a squadron of X-Wings with me, and that's it. I'm just going to fucking take them and kill most of them. So it would have been better to at least have a scene in there. But no, Hera's just this. Hera is, again, she's probably the biggest character out of all of the characters from Rebels that is so far removed from her animated counterpart. In the animated series, Hera would have been a lot more empathetic, a lot more sympathetic, a lot more like, I don't know, just she seems so stone-faced in all of this. So anyway, Space Miyagi and his squadron goes with Hera, and they make a hyperspace jump. Now, I also want to point out again, and I've made this point so many times, but in Disney Star Wars canon, hyperspace jumps is hyperspace teleportation, right? I don't know how far away this fleet is from where they are, but literally it takes Hera the time that it takes Ahsoka to basically go through the fight with the Blondie, right? Not because she doesn't fight the Blondie. She fights the fart bomb.
Merrick,
that's right. But in the time that she fights Merrick, she walks to, hello, Tulip. She walks to where the map is, has the conversation with Baylan, and gets knocked off the cliff, is the time that it takes Hera to make the jump to this location. So again, hyperspace is just hyperspace teleportation when it needs to be. It's kind of like in the second episode when Sabine was being trained by, the third episode where Sabine was being trained by Ahsoka on the ship. I'm like, oh, we're finally doing some travel time is probably the best way to put it. But then they just, when it suits them, they just go back to it being like teleportation. Anyway, so they've got to download the map. Right.
Well, look how long it took them to go from Tatooine to where Alderaan was in the very first movie. Look how long it took Luke to get to Dagobah. Look how long it took them to get freaking anywhere. Like most of the time they're on the Millennium Falcon or Luke's in his X-Wing. So it's like it takes time to get to places. It's either you are on this place and then you have to get somewhere. And look at when they were leaving Naboo. And then they had to make a stop on Tatooine, but because they couldn't make it to Coruscant. I'm like, it does take time, and they're like, no, but we need them to be here. It would have made so much more sense if they were on their way, and then they're like, we just got this massive reading, and they showed up like after it all happened, and they missed them because they couldn't get there in time.
And I mean, if the Rebel fleet, if the New Republic fleet was really that close to where this hyperspace ring was, why not just send the fleet there? I mean, the fact that they said no in the first place is a little bit ridiculous when they've had one of their capital ships fucking destroyed and all the crew on it destroyed because they broke Morgan out of the prison ship, right? That's not evidence enough, but then they've just had a report and they've arrested people for being loyal to the Empire, right, at the shipping yard where they're building a hyperspace core for a ship that's a massive ship that they're not even building a ship that size. There's so much evidence for the New Republic to actually say, okay, this is some sort of threat here. We better at least investigate and send at least a squadron of ships and maybe a capital ship or two. But no, they don't. And again, if they were that close to where the hyperspace ring was, that Hera could just get there in the time that it takes Ahsoka to essentially have a couple of fights and run across a forest, Why not just send the ships? It's so stupid. As soon as you start thinking and using your brain, and this is why I say that the SEALs out there, they're not using their brains to watch this. It's so funny, Anna. You and I copped a lot of shit for our Andor criticism when they said, "Oh, all you need is lightsabers and force use. All you need is lightsabers and force users." Okay, we've got lightsabers and force users in this, and it's fucking shit. We're not sitting here going, "Oh yeah, we love it." It's them, the people that criticized us for needing lightsabers and force users in Andor, that are sitting there going, "Yeah, this is the best Star Wars we've ever had." No, that's not how it works. It's not how the Force works.
No. Well, not only that. So lightsabers, spaceships, battles, those are all just decoration, right? Because you can do a movie about World War II. Those don't have lightsabers. Those don't have spaceships. They have guns. They have submarines. They have horses. They have tanks. It doesn't matter what the decorations are. It depends on the story, and if the story is good. That everything else is just extra. That's frosting, right? If the frosting looks nice, but the cake tastes like shit, if it's not baked properly, if it's too soggy, if it's too dry, it's going to be bad. So just because the decorations look nice, like you're describing, like when people, I hated that when I said something like, I couldn't believe that these people I was on stream with were being serious, that they liked Andor. And they're like, well, I don't need lightsabers and space and all these space things. And I was like, yeah, I don't either. My favorite movie is Silence of the Lambs. Like that's like saying the only people that can enjoy, like they can't enjoy any movie that doesn't have lightsabers. It was such a strange argument to me. But the way that people talk about it, it's like you're describing like the curtains on the Titanic. It doesn't matter. It's the fucking Titanic. If you don't know how that went, well, then there was another thing that just happened recently. You can just look at that one, Titanic Part 2. Yeah. But it's just the most interesting part of this wasn't the lightsaber battle. I don't know very many people that say the most interesting thing about Star Wars is the lightsabers. I know people will say that the lightsabers are cool, but most people, they're like, I loved Luke Skywalker. I loved the torment of Anakin and Darth Vader. Princess Leia was badass. Han Solo was cool. The fact that he had a redemption arc. Like Han Solo's thing in the first movie, it's that because he formed a friendship with Luke, and Luke is like, no, I know you're a good person. You're not just going to abandon us for the money. And he's right. Luke is right. And Han Solo comes back. It's not because Han Solo is a good pilot. It's not because he is good with a blaster. No, it's because he's a good person. That's the interesting thing about Han Solo. Yep. Like Anakin, it's the torment over his love for his wife and the fact that nothing really went his way and he was manipulated. The fact that he has magical powers and that he's a good pilot and that he's, a good fighter, that's inconsequential. That's his frosting. But the core of the character was what matters. Same thing with this. The most interesting thing that you and I both agreed on about this episode was Baylan and the little bit of dialogue. Neither one of us brought up the lightsaber battle except to criticize it. The most interesting thing is the characters and the story, and they don't have that. Mm-hmm. It's all just frosting.
Yep, 100%. And this is the other thing too, to the people out there that did like mosquitoes. Crazy. To the people out there that did like Andor, like, good for you. Like, if you wanna like this stuff, then like it. I don't know how many times I or others have to actually say that to you. If what we're saying destroys your like of it, it must be the fact that there's some legitimacy to what we're actually saying at the end of the day. But if you want to like it, like it. The problem is that I feel with something like Andor, a lot of people did turn their brains off because there was reasonable character development. But then when you actually look deeper into the plot, the story, like the one thing I always say is what happened to the 80 million credits? How did Val get the credits back to Luthen? What did he do with those credits? Like, anyway, it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Now, the characters might have been fine, but to me, it was just boring, slow, and...
Well, irrelevant. I didn't care about like the only character that you have some kind of interest in is Mon Mothma, and I think that's because the actress was really good. But you have a woman like that, and my first instinct is, why is she married to this guy? Why hasn't a woman? I get it, she's in a difficult position, but why is she married to someone that she can't even communicate with? Where is all this animosity coming from? Like, that's not a marriage, and I would expect a woman like that, unless she's being blackmailed to stay in that marriage, which didn't seem to be the case. Like, what is going on there? And that, I mean, I was more interested in that and why she was in that situation than all of the recon and behind the scenes stuff she was doing, because I'm just like, that's not really the story there. The story is, why is a woman like this married to a man like this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what
there was that element for me, but there was also, like, I feel like they completely cucked Mon Mothma in Andor, because why? Like, she's trying to get those 400,000 credits. Why didn't she just go to Bail Organa?
I know.
Instead of selling off her daughter, right, to someone that she hates, why didn't she just go to Bail Organa and go, Bail, I need you to help me get out of the pickle here, right? Or why didn't Luthen, when she's embezzling essentially money from herself, which I didn't really understand that storyline, but she's embezzling money from herself to give to Luthen, but then when Luthen gets his 80 million credits that they stole from the Empire, why didn't he pay Mon Mothma back? Like, there's so much stupid that happens in that series that, again, if you like it, you like it. That's good for you. More power to you, I guess. But there's so many holes in that story. Anyway, we're going off on a tangent.
The whole point with Mon Mothma and her daughter getting married, like, that had nothing to do with anything. I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. Like, there is no point, unless they're all gonna die Game of Thrones style, like they all go to get married and then the place blows up and like that hurts her. Again, you have a piece of shit husband that you have to tiptoe around and lie to. You have a kid that hates you, which the teenage kid thing, I'm like, okay, whatever, a teenager being a teenager. But it just, everything about that, the people that write this, I feel like they've never been around human. What's going on? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. And like, I just want to say in regards to that heist that they did, I don't know why they were planning a heist when they never had a pilot that was able to pilot the ship, but eventually they got Andor, which was apparently the only one that was able to pilot the ship. And then when they land on that planet to try and save the kid, right? Andor leaves her with the ship and the rest of the credits, and she just happens to be able to pilot the ship now to get those credits back to Luthen. All right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense.
Like, related to Mon Mothma. It's the smallest galaxy in the universe. Like, it's funny how everyone is connected, and it's not just like if it's like a family friend or something, but no, hi, Aunt Mon Mothma. Hi, what's going on? I just did this whole like retcon thing for you. It just, it would be more interesting if Mon Mothma's daughter was in on it and she's playing the role of, yeah, because that, I was waiting for that. I'm like, maybe the husband was normal and then he got, maybe, I don't know, he fell for all the propaganda. And so the daughter is like, all right, well, I'm going to make dad think that I'm on his side and I'm against you. So that way I can find out everything that, like, if dad's plotting against you, like, that could have been interesting. And like, if the whole season, we think that she's the spoiled, rotten brat that hates her mom. And then the last episode, she's like, Mom, like, I don't know if I can go through with this. Like, it's getting to the point where, like, I have to marry this person. Like, are you serious? Are you going to be able to say, like, that would have been interesting, but like, oh shit, like, this is all a root, like, whoa, subverting expectations, but in a good way. Disney doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
No, they don't. Let me get these. I'd missed this one, I think. Cold Child survives. I don't, am I reading this right? Cold Child
services on Hera for putting herself in danger. Yeah. I know. Yep. How many people take their children with them to the front lines of a war?
Yeah. I know. And then there was this one. Sorry, go on.
Have we been going for over an hour? Can I say this?
Yeah, go. You can say whatever you want.
People that send their children to the front line of a war, kind of like the Middle East.
Yeah. Yep. There you go, Hera. You're in trouble. Mike Hill for another 5. He says, how long did it take the Falcon to travel to Cloud City without hyperdrive? That's a good question. I don't know the exact thing, but when they were waiting to be thrown out with the trash, or disengage with thrown out with the trash, they were looking for a planet in basically the system that they were in. So I don't think it would have taken them too long, but it still would have. There's still travel time there, and that's the one thing about the sequels and the prequels that they tend to do really well is travel time.
And the sequels?
Sorry, did I say sequels? I meant the prequels and the OT.
Well, to say, what are you talking about? They all just magically appeared everywhere.
Sorry, that's my bad. And
how dare you?
Hyperspace skipping. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Hyperspace skipping from the sequels. They literally jump into hyperspace, jump out of hyperspace, and they're at another planet. The odds of that actually happening, when you think about the vastness of space, they've got more of a chance of actually just ending up in the vacuum of space, like constantly, as opposed to all of these different planets.
I know.
Anyway. All right, back to this. So Baylan, she says something about how does she sense fear in Baylan, and he says, I can't remember. Again, Baylan is the best character that they've been able to make in this series. I still don't think it's really great, but he is the best character. And I think it's like Anna says, it's because they haven't given him a lot. They haven't given him a lot of dialogue. It's just his presence on the screen, and when he is speaking.
Well, he's a good actor too.
Yeah, true. Very true.
He doesn't. He just shows up. The two most interesting characters are him and Blondie, and that's because they have very little dialogue, and they just show. It's the mystery about them, and they're interesting because nothing is as powerful as your imagination. So all of the explanations that you and I can come up with are vastly more interesting and probably more in depth and thought out than anything that Disney's going to come up with. So yeah, he's interesting. When he started talking, like, this is the thing, Ahsoka, you left the Order. All she has to do is just get him to start talking. When she shows up, she's like, no, like, actually, she could have just said, I actually don't want to take the map. I want the directions too. She's like, I'm not going to stop you. And she's like, tell me about like you and the Order. Tell me about your experience. Where have you been? What have you been doing? How come I haven't sensed you? I don't know, regular things. Because if you actually go back and watch the Clone Wars, which you would think Dave Filoni would fucking do since this is his goddamn character, Ahsoka is always trying to talk things out with people. Mm-hmm. So for Ahsoka to just like, oh yeah, let me just say the bare minimum to you. Like, you would have thought, hey, this is somebody that was at the temple. Where were you? What masters did you work with? Do you know what happened to this person? What's his name? Plow Koon? Like, do you know what happened to him? Because that was he's the one that came and found me. Do you know what happened to him? I haven't been able to find any records on him. You knew Anakin? You knew what happened? Can you tell me? Because I was gone. I missed Order 66. I only saw the remnants of it. Can you tell me? I can't find anyone that can tell me that was there. I don't know, 1,000,001 fucking questions, but she's like, no, I'm not going to do any kind of research on this. I'm not going to try to have any kind of understanding of the situation. She could be like, well, after watching Order 66 and what the Empire did to the Jedi, why do you want to help them? That should, if she was to ask one question, it should be that. Mm-hmm. Why Thrawn over the New Republic? And said,
that's actually the best question. That's the one question. Why are you picking Thrawn over the New Republic? If you were a part of the Jedi Order, you saw what the Republic was actually capable of before it was taken over by the dark side, by Palpatine, by Vader, all of that sort of thing. Why are you choosing to bring back the Empire and over the New Republic?
And he even said earlier, he doesn't want to kill her. He said it would be a waste to kill her because there's so few Jedi left. She could say, well, you obviously have an apprentice. Why haven't you started a new order? Like, I'm trying to start one. Luke Skywalker is here now. Like, why don't you help me and we can work together? Mm-hmm. And something like any fucking question that you and I have just said. But no, I'm like, what? Like, how are you alive? How are you this fucking stupid and still alive in this galaxy? There are people that are far smarter than her, like Padme, like Bail Organa. There are so many people in this universe that are far more intelligent. Like, is she just Forrest Gumping her way through the galaxy?
Yep.
I know,
Yeah, basically.
I watched Rebels and I watched the Clone Wars. Ahsoka isn't an idiot. Yeah, when she was younger, she was very naive. But as she got older, she got, a better head on her shoulders because that's what happens as you grow up. But no, they literally are making her into a stoic Forrest Gump that just stumbles her way through the galaxy, that just happens to run into people. And Forrest Gump accidentally makes the right decisions and helps people. She doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, you got baby fucking Yoda, and you'd rather teach Sabine than Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda who actually needs help. He went through a traumatic experience. He needs fucking help. Sabine
why doesn't she train Grogu? Oh, because of his attachment and how that can lead to the dark side. But then she even goes on to say about Sabine that she's got this dark side frustration, but she's willing to train her. This is the thing. And this is, I will say there's one part, and I know it's not the greatest episodes, and I know it's not the greatest things, but in season 6 of the Clone Wars, Yoda goes off on his own little adventure, and he basically recognizes that the dark side is in him. The dark side is in everyone. The ability to wield the dark side, if you're a Force user, is in everyone. It's whether or not that dark side actually has control over you and power over you, or whether or not you can control that. And I think the best actual thing with that is Mace Windu. Mace Windu was able to, with his fighting style and everything, able to wield the dark side without actually turning. It always got right to the brink, and especially during the fight with Palpatine, if you read the novelization, which is great, he's right on the cusp of the dark side, like full-on dark side, right? But it's whether or not you've actually got the willpower, you could say, to be able to control it. There's so much stupid in Disney's canon, in Disney's Star Wars, that it blows my mind that these people out there. It's so funny. Like I've been putting a lot of shit out there about Dave Filoni on Twitter and stuff like this, and people are writing back to me saying, "Oh, if you think this about Dave Filoni, you're not a real Star Wars fan." It's like, okay, can we think of something new, please? Like, I'm over this whole "you're not a real Star Wars fan" bullshit. Right? Like, I could say the same thing about them. If you actually like this, you're not a real Star Wars fan. Right? But in saying that, like, I'm seeing this stuff, and it's like, okay, my criticism is this. This is why I'm saying this, because of what I know. I'm not saying this just because I'm hating just to hate. It's actually, I'm saying what I'm saying, and I'm essentially hating on it because I love it so much. It's so... Anyway, it's out of this world.
I was explaining, so obviously I have a lot of friends that are girls that don't know anything about Star Wars. And I was actually explaining to Brittany, because I was venting about something, like I was so irritated. And then Brittany's a big Sailor Moon fan, and I explained to her in Sailor Moon terms, I'm like, this is as if, and other girls, like I've used, this is, people will get mad. They're like, that's like not feminist, but it's like they're putting mascara on their lips instead of using lipstick. And every single girl is like, what? And I'm like, that's the equivalent of like, oh, okay. And I understand why you're frustrated. I'm like, exactly. But for Brittany, I'm like, it's like Usagi. Instead of being Sailor Moon and doing the stuff that she does, it's all of a sudden she's on the bad guy side and she's doing X, Y, and Z. And it's like, oh shit, like it's so out of character for them to be doing that. I'm like, it's like all of a sudden Usagi doesn't like Momo and she's like, fuck this, I'm doing this instead. It's like, that's not the character. That's not the way that they would act or respond to things. So yeah, we're saying this because we're knowledgeable in it to know it. So that's when people argue, especially, I mean, I see some of the people you argue with, and then I know the people that I argue with. I'm like, so you don't know anything about it. You don't know any better. And And that's why. So, because when they complain about it, and then I see people that I'm like, okay, you're getting paid to say the things that you are saying. There's one person that I follow specifically on Instagram, and it's like, no matter what, I'm like, oh, your reaction, you love it, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's because you're getting paid and you get to go to all of these special events and stuff, and you're doing all of that. That's why you like it so much. That's why it's the greatest thing ever. And you have just literally the bare minimum of knowledge on it. I gotcha.
Yeah. See, everything that you just said about the Sailor Moon stuff just went right over my head. I have no clue what you just said. No clue. But that's the thing. To the people that are knowledgeable about it, they're the ones that are actually able to criticize it and actually give a real true opinion about it. Like, I just, anyway. Yes, that's exactly right. I saw there was Drunk 3PO took a screenshot. I don't know if you saw it. He took a screenshot of somebody making a comment in his one of his videos or one of his streams, and it said something along the lines as you suck all the fun out of Star Wars. It's like, okay, so if Drunk 3PO or me or Anna or anyone is sucking the fun out of Star Wars for you because of our take on it, all that tells me is that must mean that we're right. It must mean that we're right? Because the only way that we could suck the fun out of it is if we are right. Because if we're actually wrong, then what we say shouldn't matter to you. It shouldn't change your opinion or change your thoughts on it. You should be able to justify and legitimately justify why what we're saying doesn't make sense, makes sense. But you can't. All you can do is say, you're toxic. You just hate to hate. That's all they can literally come up with. That's why on one of my posts, I said, can we please come up with something new? Can you stop saying that we're just not a fan? You know, you mustn't be a Star Wars fan. You're toxic. You're this, you're that. Why? Why are you saying it like that? Why can't you say, no, this makes sense because of this? Reference something. Give me something to go, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. No, you can't do that because we're right. It fucking drives me insane, these people. Your crickets are going off. We've got Mike Hill for another 5 saying Star Wars Theory said the same thing. How can you call yourself a Star Wars fan and hate this episode? Well, I would argue the opposite. Yeah. How can I would argue the opposite. But see, I'm not a fucking idiot like that. I will say if you like it, good for you. Good for you. But this is why I don't like it. This is why Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars. I don't give a fuck whether or not you sit there and go, this is the best Star Wars we've ever had. Well, I kind of do, but I don't, right? Because in my eyes, it's not Star Wars. I've been re-listening to The Heir to the Empire while this series has been going. The entire, I'm near the end of Dark Force, right? And
I can't.
Man, that novel, those novels are so good.
They're good. I just don't like the end.
The end of the last one? The way it ends?
The way it ends. So Luke had, like, his opponent was Vader. So it's really Leia that's going and unraveling Thrawn's plot. And Luke is having to deal with Mara and Master Sabaoth and all of the effects of that. So Luke is doing his own thing. I was really expecting it to be a battle of wills and like a game of chess between kind of like Captain Kirk and Khan in The Wrath of Khan. Like, I was expecting it to be like Leia and Thrawn, and Leia to take on Thrawn, which she kind of does, because the entire time she finds out about the Noghri and how it was not the war with Darth Vader, but the fucking Clone Wars that fucked up their planet so bad. Yep. And so the fact that Thrawn like underestimated the Noghri, like, I get it. It was him thinking he's too smart to get outsmarted by somebody that he deemed lesser than him. But I was waiting for that payoff of it being Leia, which in a way she did have a lot to do with it because she's the one that got through to the Noghri. But I was expecting something a little bit more epic to take out Thrawn as compared to so I was a little disappointed. So
We've got
I think is decent. I
Yeah.
don't like hot chocolate though.
the hot chocolate. Yeah.
I don't like that being in Star Wars.
Lando taught Luke how to make hot chocolate.
No. I think it was the black guy that knew what chocolate was.
Yeah. Wolfwick in the chat says episode 4 was very good. I would like to ask you a question. What made it very good? Because based on so far my breakdown and my thoughts on the episode, the dialogue is still very choppy, very boring, and very stoic. That's the only word that can describe how the dialogue takes place in this entire series. The lightsaber fights were average at best, and I feel like a lot of people are saying that it's very good because you get a cameo at the end. And then you ignore the stupid.
So this is the best analogy that I just discovered today was because we're both in the Flashcast group chat. So Flash doesn't like the show One Piece. He can't watch it because he doesn't like the animation style. I even tried watching One Piece because the Munchkin is really into it. And somebody sent me all of the mangas and she took them all for me and she's been reading them. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm glad you're reading and not on your Switch, right? And so I did try to watch the animation and I can't fucking do it. Every 2 seconds, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm going to get a headache. And I knew Flash was going to make us watch it. So I was cleaning my house because my in-laws were coming over and I turned on the show. It wasn't as annoying as the cartoon. And I was like, okay, I can see where things are going, but it is very over the top and like very dramatic and animated, but live action. And I was like, okay, if I was a little kid, I'd probably enjoy this more. But I can see how somebody like Flash, who couldn't stand to watch the anime, he really liked the show. And then somebody like Crow, who loves the anime and he can see all the problems with the show, how he can't stand it. So I think it's it's like ignorance is bliss. If you're very ignorant on this topic, you can watch this episode and be like, that was the best episode ever because I don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
So once you do know better, it's like when you're growing up, you don't know what a toxic relationship is. You think this person is the best person ever. And then you realize, oh no, later on in life, you're like, that was stupid. Why was I even in that situation to begin with? It's so ignorance is bliss. People that like it, congratulations. I'm glad you can enjoy something. Yep. You and I are too seasoned.
Yep, 100%. Wolf Wicked says, was the most Star Wars in 10 years we've ever had. Fights was good too.
What?
Look,
hey, Rhino, let's spin and turn our back to the person that has a fucking license. Sabine.
It wasn't just turning your back to as well. It was also the fact that the Marok character. Did you see that kick?
Oh my God, it was so bad.
The kick. I'm like, in my review, I'm like, why Ahsoka just slice that leg off when he kicks? Don't move back and avoid the kick. Slice the leg off.
Push him into the fucking tree.
Look, I just want to point out, if you like it, good for you. Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars. It never has been, and it never will be based on the current regime that it's in. If you think that it's the best Star Wars that we've had in the 10 years, okay. I don't really want to say good for you. I'll say that's on you. That's on you. Like when it finally gets revealed and the rewatchability of these things, and the more you watch it and the more stupid you see, and then you start to it's kind of like with Mando season 1 and season 2, right? There was a lot of people coming after me, right? And a few others out there. Stig Kenobi's one of them, OG Star Wars, a few people out there. They came after me saying how, like, I mustn't get it. You mustn't be a Star Wars fan. All of this kind of stuff. And now I ask those people, like, what do you think of Mando season 1 and season 2 now? And it's completely flipped. Like, time, like, unlike the originals and unlike the prequels, time isn't going to help these things. Time is going to allow people to take the beer goggles off, because right now all it is, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Once that oh my God dies down and they start to actually see it for what it really is, that's when they'll start to realize how bad it actually is. So If you like it, you like it. There's nothing I can say or do. Well, there shouldn't be anything I could say or do to change your mind, but it seems that there is stuff that I can say and do to change your mind, and that's why we suck all the fun out of it. Anyway, there was this, like, here's another scene where they walk up to, like, you know, the 2-on-2 fight, and it's just a lot of staring and looking at each other before she takes a step down and says, "Going somewhere." Takes the cloak off. Staring, looking.
Going somewhere?
Oh my God, can we hurry up? Like, that's all I was thinking while I was watching it. Anyway, so obviously the fight ensues. Now, Sabine starts off with her blasters. Again, I hate this sparks. Now, I know that in a couple of the fights in the prequels, I think it was, when sabers sort of connected, there was like a little bit of a spark possibly here or there, but it was very rare. They seem to want to make it look like these sabers are welding something. Like,
I know, like they want to have some kind of effect. Here's the thing with Star Trek, they're like, well, we have to be at least 20% different than the originals and the Next Generation and all the Star Trek that came before. So we have to be 20% different in everything. So if they were saying like, hey, we want it to be a little bit different so that way you can visually see when it's Disney Star Wars versus George Lucas Star Wars, then I could be like, all right, they at least gave us, I think it's stupid considering they own it, but they gave us some excuse as to why the lightsabers are now going vroom, 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 like they're power surging and that they're having sparks like that. Yeah. The only time we really saw sparks from the lightsaber was when it was hitting something electrical or they were scraping something, like when General Grievous was spinning, and it wasn't the lightsabers that were sparking, it was the things that the lightsabers were touching and destroying that were sparking. Yep. This doesn't make any fucking sense. They're like, we need, you know what it is? They want the special effects for it to look cool. Why don't you stop wasting your money on this and put it into your character's freaking makeup?
Yep. Like sparks. Look, sparks everywhere. Sparks. Every time they make contact, there's a spark. Sparks. That kick there.
No, when he's just right now, when he's doing the flip, she could have just stabbed him.
That's what I mean, though. Like here.
One of the big problems with them fighting is the fact that they're going for each other's lightsabers. It's like, no, the reason why Anakin lost his arm was because Count Dooku cut it off. He wasn't aiming for Anakin's lightsaber. The lightsaber is literally there to block and attack, because the bad guy is going to attack you and you need to block their swing with your lightsaber. When you don't block it, you lose a limb or you die. Look at Qui-Gon. Look at Anakin. Look at Anakin and Obi-Wan. When Anakin jumps to try to get over Obi-Wan, what does he do? He cuts off his arms and his last leg. It's so stupid. In this, they jump around Ahsoka. The dude should have lost both of his legs, both of his arms, and his head. When the chick, Blondie, is turning her back to Sabine, she could have stabbed her in the back a million times. Who was the person that said these were good fights? Have you ever watched a good fight? I don't think you have.
Yeah. Like, this is the thing. Like, I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. More sparks. Look, sparks. Cuts back to them doing the map. This made me think of Stargate. Locking in each symbol.
Well, it made me think of Stargate. It also made me think of like the zodiac sign, the way that it's fit. Like, yeah. I love, and this is, I said it in my review, I'm like, they were literally waiting to download the map. They're waiting for the files to download. Like, that's the plot that the bad guys are doing, which, by the way, the map that was in an ancient temple that's from ancient times that conveniently has a map to where people that disappeared 5 years ago are, makes total fucking sense, right? To another galaxy. It's so stupid.
Yeah, and leads directly to Thrawn, who can actually move around that galaxy. Like, does the actual map move? If Thrawn moves from, let's say, one planet to another, does the map actually change its direction?
It's like the tracking pops. Just don't ask questions, just consume.
Yeah. So Ahsoka gets in her stance. We get the helicopter lightsaber. Obviously, Sabine gets force pushed. It's the only force power we ever see pretty much in this entire episode is Sabine gets force pushed into a tree and her helmet falls off. Her helmet. She's supposed to be a Mandalorian warrior, right? So I've seen Mandalorians get knocked down before and their helmets don't just flop off their head. It's so stupid. It's like, okay, we got to get rid of Sabine's helmet somehow. How do we do it? Oh, we'll get her force pushed into a tree and the helmet will just pop off her head. So that we can see their face. It's so stupid. Her helmet shouldn't be off. She's in the middle of a fight with a force wielder who should not only just have force pushed her into a tree, but then picked her up and started choking her and maybe crushing her lungs.
Well, you know why, Rhino? It's because they wanted the actress to actually be there and not her stunt double.
No, I know. It's like, unlike Mando, who just reads his lines. Pedro Pascal. So then we get Marok doing his helicopter lightsaber spinny thing, which I think is one of the most stupidest invented fucking lightsaber systems I've ever seen.
Okay, but did you laugh when he just died and everyone who had the fan theories was just like...
Yeah, well, I must admit, I'm one of those people that got sucked in by the fan theories because I said that I thought that it was going to be Ezra. Now, I know people are out there that haven't watched all my stuff and haven't heard my explanation of why I think Ezra made it back and Thrawn didn't. But they're like, you're an idiot. Why wouldn't Thrawn be back if Ezra was back? I had an explanation for that. Anyway.
Yeah, he used to ride back with the space whales because he was friends with them.
Yeah, maybe. More sparks. And then Marok gets killed, right?
Yeah, she just slices him in half and he turns to dust.
Yeah.
Which...
So he turns into a green fart. Poof. All theories gone out the window. Done.
But it's funny because he already died. So I'm like, is his species where he just constantly comes back? Like he gets because the way that it looked like, it's like if you watch Harry Potter with like the Phoenix, when the Phoenix like bursts into flame and ash and he gets reborn through the ashes, is like that what Merrick is? I don't know.
Well, no, obviously with the green smoke, he was created by that Night Sister, by Morgan.
Oh, I didn't think about that. You're right.
He's just a nothing. He's a nothing.
He's nothing and no one.
Yeah.
Disney.
And then so this is where they completely stop to have a conversation, right? Now, you've got this. You got stabbed and run through by this character just a couple of days ago. And you've got this all of a sudden?
I know.
Now, I want to ask you, you know the bit where she actually basically, let's just skip forward a little bit here. Ahsoka shows up. Let's talk a little bit about this. We sort of already did. But Baylan, like, again, I hate the fact that Baylan is another Jedi survivor of Order 66 because, you know, the Purge was a failure. And I hate the fact that he knows that Vader is Anakin. That's basically all I sort of got from this conversation between them. I will say, again, he holds the screen really well. He's a good actor. His presence is really good. And this conversation could have been better than what it was, basically.
Yeah. Like we said earlier.
Yep.
Why are you helping them? Like...
I'm not here to talk about my past. I'm here to, I don't know.
It's like, hey, you have information that I desperately need.
Yeah.
And I want, and you're literally willing to talk to me. You have no interest in killing me because you think I'm too valuable alive. You obviously have an apprentice, so you're interested in, you know, rebuilding the Jedi in some way, shape, or form. Maybe I should fucking talk to you.
Yeah.
And find out what your damn goals are. You know, that's one thing that I will say, that the villains, at least to some extent, this is why the villains in Star Wars usually win, is because what did Palpatine do with Anakin? Well, he groomed him for one thing, but he's like, oh, this kid is really fucking powerful. And everyone around him is questioning him. So I'm going to be his biggest cheerleader and I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to become his confidant and I'm going to find out everything that he wants. And then he uses it to manipulate him. So I don't know. Maybe Ahsoka should do a little retcon and find out what the fuck this guy's goals are and what he wants.
Recon,
sorry.
No, not recon. They have been doing retcons. Don't worry. Yeah. But I also want to point out in this, when they ignite their lightsabers and they're just sort of circling each other for about half an hour, and then they change their stance to like go into this samurai mode or something. It's hurry up.
Well, also, why is she only fighting with one? She has her other one on her belt.
Yep. But also too, like Ahsoka, you don't have time to be doing these slow movements and everything. The map's right there. It's being downloaded. Hurry up. Stop fucking taking your time.
This is what drives me crazy. Just use the Force and pull it to you. Remember how Luke is like hanging and he just uses the Force to get his fucking lightsaber so the Wampa doesn't kill him? I don't know. Force pull that thing out of there and grab it. Oh, she didn't even have to alert Baylan that she was there. She could have stood behind the rock and Force pulled it and ran off. There you go. I just solved their episode. I solved her fucking problem. Again, Forrest. Actually, this is something Forrest Gump would have been smart enough to do. He would have just ran.
Stupid.
He grabbed it and ran.
Yeah. But yeah, that was real time of what you were just seeing there of them, and then he moves his stance. Ugh. Look at this. It's so boring and slow. Oh, now we get into it. More sparks. Anyway, now I got obviously we're running out of time here. So let's get to some of the more important stuff. So there's Sabine's helmet. She gets knocked down to the ground. Now, what do you think of this bit where she goes to do like a force push? And now, based on the sound effect,
it's so stupid.
It is stupid. But based on the sound effects, something happened. She used enough of her anger and enough of her want to use the Force that it actually did do something, but it was minute. It was small. Hear that boof, right? Now, it did do something. I truly believe. Now, people want to say, no, it was just her turning her head. It was just a reflex, right? And then she turns to her and say, you've got no power. I think that because you hear that little sound in there, hear it? Something does happen, but it's very small. It's weak, right? And then
I thought it was like her falling. Like that's what I thought the thump was.
No, because the thump happens after she does the hand thing. Watch again.
Down, Disney, don't flag us. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
So,
it's like the smallest little nudge.
Smallest little force push. So something's coming out of Sabine in all of this.
You know what? Is she was smart enough to use force push, but Ahsoka didn't force push the helicopter lightsaber or force push the fucking map out of. What if she just force pushed the map into the ocean off the little thing? Just force push the. She's actually strong in the Force, so either force pull it to you, which she's not smart enough to fucking do. Force push it out and just force push it in the water so that way they can't fucking find it. There you go. I just solved their problem.
Well, Ahsoka uses the Force to get rid of Shin because she sees Shin come around the corner and realizes that if Shin's there, that means Sabine's dead. So she gets angry, goes a little dark side and shoves Shin out the way. But then a couple of seconds later, Sabine shows up and she sees Sabine and she's like, destroy the map. And then Baylan basically hits her off the cliff, which you saw a little clip of that a second ago. Sabine then doesn't shoot the fucking map. She doesn't destroy the map or anything like that. Baylan starts to manipulate her and says, let's go together. I won't hurt you. I will keep my promises as opposed to your master. And the thing is Sabine faced Thrawn in Rebels. She knows what's coming if she allows this to happen. And Ezra sacrificed himself to get rid of Thrawn. And you're just going to hand the map back? Like, come on. This
The
was
only thing
stupid.
which is me coming up with an excuse for them is that she gave it to them so that way that she knew that they were going to take her prisoner and that way they could take her to Ezra. But again, that's me making an excuse.
I still think it was pretty stupid. And she
It's
said at the
very
beginning of the
stupid.
episode that she knew that there was a possibility they might have to destroy it and leave Ezra in limbo land forever. And anyway, she just gives it back to him. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. She starts force choking her, which she should have done throughout the battle between them. So Shin starts force choking Sabine, and Baylan tells her to let her go. So she does, because he keeps his promises. And then the rebel ships show up. So in that time, Hera's been able to make a jump from the fleet to this place. Baylan and that they put Sabine in cuffs and they take her up to the hyperspace ring. And Miyagi and Hera are the only two that survived this hyperspace jump. Right? They charge the ship up. So funny. And yeah, so Miyagi and Hera are the only two that survive because, of course, they're actual characters in Disney's world. And then basically it just cuts back to Ahsoka in the world between worlds, and you get hollow snips, and she's like, "Oh, Master," and Anakin's there. Man, the scar is there. You just, oh, hang on, I'm clicking it. It's just really hard to see. Anyway, it is there, but they moved it. But okay, so now I mentioned that I've got a bit of a theory on this, right? The only thing that can make sense for how Ahsoka is now in the world between worlds, and it doesn't really make sense when you see the long shot of her in the world between worlds because there's no portal near her, but is that Anakin has found a way into the world between worlds somehow, and Anakin was able to pull Ahsoka through the portal into the world between worlds as she was falling off the cliff and dying. So it's the second time she's been saved. Now, the only reason why I say that could be a possibility, and the only way that this can actually work, is because how did Ahsoka get into the world between worlds in Rebels? Ezra pulled her through the portal and saved her life, right? If she's just literally fallen off the cliff and she's just all of a sudden ended up in the world between worlds, how does that make sense to anyone? How do you explain this away? So the only explanation that actually makes sense is that Anakin, pre-Order 66, because this is pre-Order 66, is in the world between worlds and has been able to pull Ahsoka into the world between worlds. It's the only explanation that makes any sense.
Or it's a dream. Because Anakin's not even through a doorway, he's just on the path.
I know.
So it could just be her, she's about to die because she's drowning, and it's because Anakin says, I didn't expect to see you so soon, meaning he's dead and she's dead. Well, that could be what it means, but if
it's a dream, then she did land in the water on those rocks and she's dead.
Well, she could have landed in the water and she's unconscious, and it's her mind. I can't remember what movie this has happened. I think, oh my God, it's Twilight. Because I was like, what movie have I seen this in? It's New Moon. It's the second Twilight movie when Bella is trying to see Edward, and the only reason she can see him is because it's adrenaline and it's her weird conscience, which is him. And so she like jumps off the cliff into the ocean and she's drowning, and she sees Edward in the water, and Jacob has to jump in and save her. So
right.
They're literally ripping off Twilight. Ahsoka fell in the water and she's drowning, and her subconscious is making her see Anakin because it was just mentioned. This is stupid. Now I'm even more irritated than I was before.
But also, too, okay, so if this is a dream, then this is all in Ahsoka's head. So it's kind of like Kylo Ren when he dreams that his dad forgives him in The Rise of Skywalker. like, and if she is dreaming and she just landed in the water, then she's drowning, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, because which shows off the rocks, because I went back and on the episode to like try to find it, and she's not there, so she's definitely in the water. Because I think Balin looks over and you don't see her body, which means she's in the water.
If she's not actually been pulled through a portal in the world between worlds while she was falling.
Which it doesn't make sense why she would be in the world between worlds. She didn't find like the temple. She didn't find the world between worlds. She fell into the water.
That was going to be my other point as well, is like for Ezra to get into the world between worlds, he had to figure out a video game puzzle.
Yep.
To get into the temple.
Well, it's kind of like when you play KOTOR and the character has a flashback.
Mm.
Or when there's like when you're touching the essence of the Force. Mm-hmm. So this is a video game cutscene. It's the halfway mark on the video on the game. So you're having this flashback, or you're having this character moment where you realize who you are, and then now you're going to go on a redemption arc the rest of the video game.
In the spirit world.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the only thing that in my head, based on the information and the lore that I know about the world between worlds. World between worlds, everybody, is not time travel. I've explained this multiple times, how when Ezra saves Ahsoka in Rebels, Ahsoka has to go through the same portal that she came through, that she got pulled through, and Ezra goes back through the same portal that he came into the world between worlds from. There's no... Yes, okay, he manipulated it and basically was able to save Ahsoka's life in that moment, which changed obvious events of her dying at the hands of Vader, but it's not necessarily time travel. You can't use the world between worlds to retcon the sequels unless you go back and you somehow find a way to bring Palpatine's spirit essence that survives after Return of the Jedi into the world between worlds and destroy it. I don't know. I don't know. But it's stupid either way. The whole thing is stupid. I'm so like... I mean, this is what annoys me when people sit there and seal clap. Oh my God, it's Ahsoka. I mean, oh my God, it's Anakin. Oh, Anakin. People are crying while they're reacting to this. And I'm sitting here going... This is stupid. Explain this to me. Explain how this is working. Right? Now, we've got a whole nother episode to come in regards to they could give us some sort of explanation in this. But based on the past stuff that we've had from Disney Star Wars, this isn't going to be explained. We're not going to get any valid explanation to how this is all working.
So, but that's the thing. If they just say, we just wanted to be able to have live action Anakin and Ahsoka here. We just had a little cameo where she had a near-death experience and she saw Anakin. Like that, I'm like, okay, that doesn't wreck anything because that's the character's imagination, the character's fantasy. Are they going to do that? Probably not. If this is really the world between worlds, they're going to have Ahsoka drag Anakin out and we're going to have Hayden Christensen deep-faked, de-aged, back and in Star Wars doing shit alongside Ahsoka, which is Dave Filoni's wet fucking dream. Mm-hmm. Watch. And they're going to destroy Anakin.
Well, based on some of the rumors and some of the things that we had, the next episode is going to be Anakin and Ahsoka's fight on Mustafar, isn't it?
From Rebels?
No, from Revenge of the Sith.
Anakin
Did you not hear about that rumor that apparently they're going to recreate the Obi-Wan Vader fight on Mustafar and have Ahsoka and...
Oh my God. This is why I don't listen to anything, because people are stupid. Who thinks that that's a good idea?
I mean, it is a rumor, Anna. Take it with a grain of salt.
Oh my God. What? There's no fucking... Why would they do that? That is so beyond retarded.
Because then this is the thing. Don't ask questions. Just consume product and get ready for next product. It's so the seals will clap. That's all it is.
I'm irritated.
That's all it is.
Headache now.
Yeah. But that's
you
essentially
can't be serious.
That was it. There was a rumor. If go on Twitter and you'll find something. There's a picture. There's a picture that somebody did of Ahsoka on Mustafar with Anakin fighting.
Oh my God!
When they're on those platforms. Here we go. So Mike Hill for 5 says, "How about Ahsoka? Ahsoka's explanation: if Ezra saved Kanan, it would have changed everything." Yes, and I think that was a really good moment for the World Between Worlds to actually have that in there to explain what would have happened in that moment. Because if Ezra had have pulled Kanan out in that moment that he was about to die, then Ezra would have died in that explosion, in which case he is no longer in the World Between Worlds. And this is the problem with creating something like that, though.
I just read this. We will see many possible outcomes for Ahsoka's life and how, in essence, no matter what, they all led to a particular moment in her story. If Ahsoka had returned to the Jedi Order, she would be the one fighting Darth Vader on Mustafar, having the high ground, not Obi-Wan. What? Because what happened had to happen to get Tano to where she is, and who the fuck said that she would be fighting? No, that makes no sense for her to fight over Obi-Wan. Are you kidding me? Who the fuck said this?
We're talking about, hang on, I got to make this point really quickly. Dave Filoni said that to take stuff from the EU and rip it off and change it and make it something that it's not is rude. What is it when you actually take something from the movies and completely change that, even if it is in theory or in a non-connected part of the universe? What is that? That's Dave Filoni having his orgasm moment, seeing what he wants to have, jizzing all over the screen, jizzing all over Ahsoka. Sorry, Anna. And rude. Fucking rude. That's funny. That's so funny that you just read that. Yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, the only time that could come into this series is in this next episode. So let's see what happens.
I wish you hadn't told me that, because now I'm so irritated. I'm so beyond irritated. I had no idea that was the fan theory. How fucking stupid. Who the fuck came up with this? Dave fucking Filoni. All right, man. I am so okay.
It's infuriating, isn't it? It's actually infuriating.
Ahsoka is a character that was literally made up by a fanboy, Dave Filoni. He made this up. He is trying to turn all of Star Wars into his weird, twisted fan fiction with space wolves and alien chicks.
Yep.
I'm so...
Yep. Deeple's stupid.
It's so stupid.
Rant video. Anna, you gotta do a rant video about
I'm going to. I have to go see Chrissy and the girls in LA, and none of these girls know anything about Star Wars. And they're gonna be like, "Why are you in a weird mood, Anna?" I'm like, "Because they're trying to do Ahsoka fighting Anakin on Mustafar," and they're gonna be like, "Anna, we speak English. We don't speak that language."
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. But yeah.
Well, I actually do have to go because I have an hour drive ahead of me, and I was supposed to be there in half an hour.
Yep. No, you got to do it.
Have fun on your plane ride down to wherever it is you're going.
Going to Adelaide. Yep. Thanks for again coming on. I've really been enjoying doing these streams with you. They've been great. So hopefully next week we'll be able to talk about the Ahsoka Anakin fight on Mustafar, which will be fun.
If that happens, I'm going to be so pissed. All right, guys, I got to get going. Thank you, Ryan. Have a good day.
Great. Bye, Anna. Thanks. There you go. There you go. So we got Anna ranting and raving and angry before she left. That's kind of funny. That really is kind of funny. Let me just check my Streamlabs. I can't go for too much longer either, guys. What do I do here? Because I do have a couple of things up, but I'm probably... what do I do? All right, let's just do this. I'm going to get rid of that. So apparently episode 5, just quickly, is dropping in some theaters around the world. Not many, but some. They're going to do episode 5. this is the thing. How long is episode 5? You're literally going to go to a theater for half an hour and watch an episode? All right. Good for you. I'm not wasting my money on that shit. And then you get people like this. This is again, the fans out there, the ones that are actually enjoying this. This is the kind of takes that they've got. Let me blow this up a little bit here. So do Jedi that are strong with the Force go to the world between worlds when they die? That wasn't Force Ghost Anakin. No, this is just kind of stupid. So it's 49 minutes long. All right, thanks. This is just kind of a stupid take from a Disney Star Wars seal. No. For Jedi that are strong in the Force do not go to the world between worlds to die. It's not what... And again, this is another problem with the whole world between worlds in the first place, to be honest with you. And then I was also going to show Grace Randolph's fucking comments of it. How she's like, yep, that's some Spider-Verse directing right there. These are just people that don't understand Star Wars canon. They don't even understand Disney canon. And this is the thing that's making it so complicated. If you haven't watched Rebels, majority of what you're watching right now doesn't make sense, right? But even this is where I make the point, even if you've watched Rebels, like I said, the characters don't line up with their animated counterparts. They're not the same people. They're not the same characters, right? So even if you have watched Rebels, a lot of what you're seeing shouldn't make sense, but, you know, the seals will clap, won't they? All right. Sorry, guys. I really am running out of time here. I've still got to pack my shit and get ready to catch a plane. But we will quickly go through this. All right, guys. Here we go.
I'm all the Jedi.
All right, now before we actually go through the nominees for this week's Seal of the Week, I just want to say to the people out there that send me stuff, thank you so much. I got sent, honestly, probably about 20 or 30 different Seal of the Week nominees for this week. There's that much going on. So again, thank you to everybody that did send me some. I'm sorry if your person that you wanted nominated didn't get in here. I didn't really have, again, a lot of time to organize this. I wasn't even going to do it. So I just quickly picked a couple, and this is what I came up with. So the first one is here. We've got Anakin Said the Thing, Ahsoka, and it's just the hollow snips. Okay. The second nominee, so nominee number 2, I always check to see if they've got pronouns in their bio. We get a thank you, Dave Filoni, Ahsoka, with the Dave Filoni God in the sky. 2 little simple ones there. Nominee number 3. Sorry, while I ash all over my hand. Wow. Ahsoka episode 4 was perfection. I'm not just saying that either. Well, you kind of are. I really mean it. Absolutely blown away by this one. This is on a whole other level right here. The dialogue is the dialogue was perfect, acting perfect, lightsaber battles perfect, music perfect. This has set a new standard in my opinion. Yes, it certainly has set a new standard. Let's see if we can top making the seals clap even more. So that's nominee number 2. And nominee number 3 is, hang on, I got to check. Oh, we got 4 without pronouns in their bios. Incredible. This badass rebel queen strikes deep into the hearts of haters. What? Who test her gangster. And then they're using the line from the previous episode where she's like, just sat back and waited to see who came out on top. So there are your 4 nominees. I am going to put the poll in the chat. One, 2, 3, and 4. Vote away, guys. Vote away. But see, like, this is what I'm saying. These are the kinds of fans. Badass rebel queen strikes at the heart of it, into the heart of all the haters. All right, you weirdo. Fucking weirdo. All right, while we're waiting for you guys to vote, actually, let me just go through them again. So that's number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. I certainly feel like number 3 and 4 definitely, like, obviously they're all Ahsoka related, but these 2 are just really nothing burgers, just idiots. Okay, so Grizzy, I'm going to put the poll. I'm going to put his link in the chat. If you're not subscribed to Grizzy, please go over and give him a sub. He does some great work, not just with Star Wars, but with Marvel, all the stuff. Obviously, you can see he came out with an Obi-Wan Kenobi one there. So he gets all the seals and all the shills reactions to these things. And usually when there's a new Star Wars show that comes out, we watch them. We watch them. All right. So what we've got 2 to watch. He's been pumping these out. And usually it's just the episode. So there's the episode 4 one. But he's also got one just in regards to the Ahsoka Poppin scene. So let's watch that one first.
Oh, that was...
Here we go. Oh, better give that a like. How many views has this got? 5,700. Grizzy, you're doing great, dude. All right, here we go.
The second they get flown out of orbit and Ahsoka has to go out on the wing in her space outfit and attack everyone with the lightsabers, that moment just made me hyped to no end.
That was so dope. That was one of the coolest action sequences we've gotten in a long time.
But
see, these people, they don't sit back and actually ask how or why. Or does it make sense to do this? They don't ask the questions. Like everybody that I know, like the, Nerdrotic, all of those guys out there that have been watching it. It's like, so after the ship is disabled, they've got no shields. All of this, Ryan Kennel is another one. They got no shields. They got no power, nothing. Instead of shooting at the ship and blowing the ship up. And I will say some of those blaster bolts actually hit the ship, the hull of the ship, but they do no damage. Nothing matters in Disney Star Wars anymore.
Watching her deflect turbo laser fire with her lightsabers was super awesome. And again, watching her being able to slice a ship in half goes to show you the power of the lightsaber, but also the power of the wielder.
Are you fucking serious? After what we got in the premiere episode, you're going to come back a week later with this and use the power of the lightsaber as a positive to shill this scene?
Great point.
You're an idiot.
Christy.
Seeing her destroy one of the ships by doing a whole backflip and slicing it, it's badass. And it definitively shows why Ahsoka is so awesome.
You know what the enemies could just do? They could just, I don't know, fucking destroy the ship.
Yes, he's exactly right. Look at how much of the ship is exposed. The cockpit and the entire right side. You destroy the ship, you kill both of them. This whole entire sequence was just completely ridiculous to me. Ahsoka twice does cartwheels in space, dodging turbo laser fire.
Ooh, what?
Seals.
Yes.
It feels like a child wrote it.
I thought this was terrific, man.
Oh,
I really did.
Den of Shills.
I loved it because it's like, oh shit. You know what I mean?
Oh my god. You know, it's like oh
Dave
shit.
Filoni
You know what I
took the
mean?
script to a local grade school and then asked if anyone would like to add anything, you know, and then little junior son of a bitch over here raises his hand and says, what if she went out on the wing of the ship and fought them off with lightsabers? And Filoni just put that shit in.
That there were 2 strong female alphas in that situation.
And he just went for it, man. He just went for it. And that's what I think Star Wars should be. It should be adventure. It should be going for it.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson went for it with Leia Poppins, and look how that turned out. And yes, this was almost as bad as that.
Like Ahsoka getting out in the ship and standing on the hull and lightsaber and the starfighters and all that. Had Sabine not powered the ship back on, she lost her footing in that. So it was a trade-off that may not have paid off in the end if she didn't have adequate backup.
Dave Filoni showed that she needed a spacesuit and that she couldn't just will her way back to the ship.
Well, guys, unfortunately for literally everyone, The Last Jedi exists. And a near-dead Leia was able to force pull herself back to her ship.
So why couldn't she force pull herself back to her ship? Great point again.
The fact that Ahsoka was unable to do this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Now, why did Filoni write it that way? Because he wanted to tell a joke.
Sabine, did you fix the ship yet?
They even found time for comic relief in this scene. This
if you're not subscribed to Knights of Melbourne, go and subscribe to Knights of Melbourne.
show is garbage.
Facts.
Jeepers. Wow, that was really well orchestrated.
And yeah, like straight up, like igniting the saber and like standing there, and it reminded me of Luke and Andor, like squaring off against the speeder bike coming. So
now this is a defense I see from these people a lot, comparing Disney Star Wars to a scene from the original trilogy. In this case, Luke fighting the speeders on Endor. They make the comparison to a scene from the OT that is well received and well liked, and they say it's exactly the same or very similar. So if you like the scene in the original trilogy, you're a hypocrite if you don't like it when Disney Star Wars does it. That's the trap they try to set, but in order for the trap to work, you have to accept his ridiculous premise that Ahsoka fighting off ships in space is the same as Luke fighting off speeders on a planet's surface.
Yep.
So yeah, this show sucks, and Dave Filoni sucks as well. Please make sure before you go to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe, guys. Grizzy is great. I'm going to drop the link again. There it is there. I hate people. Yeah, me too. All right, so there's that one. And we've got to go back and we've got to watch episode 4, and then we'll go back and do the results of Seal of the Week. How many votes have we got in there so far? We got 39 votes. Guys, get your votes in. I'll go quickly flick through them again. That's the first one, second one, the third one, and the fourth one. Get your votes in, guys. And again, if you're new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe. Anna and I hopefully will, like, Anna's schedule can sometimes be a bit iffy, but hopefully we can get through every episode and do this stream each week for you guys so that you get our breakdowns and our thoughts on each episode, despite the fact that we've been reviewing it as well. Future Caveman for 10. Thank you, dude. I really appreciate that. Rono, aren't you excited for the big reveal of Morgan Elsborn? Oh, I don't even know how to say her last name properly, as the new most powerful Sith ever, Darth Rogan. Estrogen. Darth Estrogen. Jesus. Can't wait. Seal clap, Clown World, seal clap. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. And to all the members, you guys are awesome. I don't know if anyone, and it hasn't shown me if anyone did drop any gift memberships. I appreciate that, but it hasn't notified me yet. So we've got 40 votes in there. All right, let's watch The simps, the seals, the shills react to the entirety of episode 4.
Bro.
This is going to be a good one because of Anakin.
Bro.
She in a Purgle's mouth?
Oh, is she in World Between Worlds? Wait. Oh, she is. Holy shit.
Not how did she get there? What is going on here? How does this work? It's just she's in the world between worlds. Holy shit. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, Grizzy. Oh, that was that not fake? Was that not fake? That hyperventilation.
You guys remember that Hayden Christensen played Anakin Skywalker 20 years ago?
Because I got a couple patients in here could use a good time machine. Get it?
Better that than allowing Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
Oh, heir to the Empire.
Heir to the Empire.
Oh, they said the thing.
Oh.
I got to get my clip of Dave saying rude. That's just rude.
There's next movie coming out. Please. That's going to be so awesome.
No, it's not.
Nope. Kel Kestis shows up in this episode. I'm a freak.
Yeah, you're more likely to actually lose weight one day than for that to happen.
Oh, no!
Yes.
Oh, he's fighting!
Told you he can fight. Oh, Jesus, fuck.
Yes, with the back arms!
It's like watching a bunch of retards trying to fuck a doorknob out there.
Oh, the sound.
God, grown fucking man.
Here we go, baby. We in this shit.
Thanks for joining the party, Carson.
Carson's here!
Carson Deva!
Space Miyagi!
Yay!
Seriously, this useless character gets a seal clap from you people?
Yeah, see, use my seal claps. Woohoo!
Seal clap from you people?
Love seeing him in this.
Got me a little teary-eyed about it.
Oh my
Pussies.
Oh my god. You're teary-eyed about seeing Space Miyagi? These reactions are fake as fuck.
Oh, perfection and well done.
Literally kissing Dave Filoni's ass.
My body's not ready for this, man.
I would have fucked you in the ass.
I could have used like twice the length, but I'm happy to take what I can get, honestly.
Going somewhere? Fall in love. Don't fight, just fall in love.
Oh my god.
Scissoring. Oh yeah, scissor.
You know, this kind of reminds me of, especially with the setting and everything, the Rey versus Kylo Ren fight.
Don't remind me.
All right, who the fuck are you, Marek? We gotta know.
There's some kind of connection there.
You're wrong.
What if Cal Kestis is Marek?
Well, are you retarded?
Man,
Really?
please tell me
Time.
they had the same
Not on your
master.
side.
Vader was his master, and Anakin was her master. Please, that would be so freaking cool.
10 seconds later.
Man up and vanished like a fart in the wind.
He was smoke.
He was smoke?
Yeah, he wasn't anybody. He was like smoke monster.
Honest question. When you two say dumb shit like this, why don't you just edit it out of your video?
Don't ask questions like that, Donald. Clearly, they're too stupid to understand.
My queen! My queen!
Oh.
She is my queen.
Oh! That was a great dodge!
Whoa. Oh, I just got chills.
Shut the fuck up! That was unwise.
Oh my gosh, no!
Oh shit!
Whoa!
Oh!
No!
Can she fly?
It's so funny. Everybody's reaction is so different to my reaction. As soon as he hit her off the cliff, I was, yes! Go and watch my video. My reaction is fucking yes. And everybody's like, no, what? Oh my God.
Holy crap! I don't.
fly?
You can't fly. No.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert,
Why?
Glass!
They think that she thinks that there's a possibility that she could be Superman.
She's Ahsoka freaking Tano. She's fine.
This feels very intense.
course.
This is a
Disney
fantastic
Star Wars.
episode, by the way.
It's honestly the best thing that happened to Star Wars in years.
You must be on crack.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Baking? What?
Faking. Grizzy, I love you, man.
You literally look like you just took the vibrator from the beginning of the video up your ass.
She's in the fucking world between worlds.
How did she get there?
Shut the fuck up! Do you know what shut the fuck up mean?
Anakin.
No!
Anakin. Oh, Anakin.
Cry. Oh, that was annoying.
What?
Shut up, you cunt!
Dude! Dude!
Oh, stop! My heart! Oh, this cry. Oh, my. Oh, my God.
Pussy. Holy crap! Oh my God!
I didn't expect to see you so soon.
Get the fuck out of my video, bitch.
Why you do that?
I know we've seen him already in Kenobi, but this is so different. This is so different.
No different. Only different in your mind.
Bitch. Yeah, Grizzy, that was a great edit, dude. That was so good.
If you missed any of the previous episodes of Ahsoka, there should be a link to the playlist.
Dude, go. Grizzy is great, man. Grizzy is so good. There's the link. Oh, man, that was fun. It was annoying, but fun. And as usual, I have to say, Grizzy, fuck you, man. Oh, fucking brilliant. All right, let's finish off with Seal of the Week. Let's get these votes. Let me share the screen here so that I can leave it on the other one so I can read it. Okay. And I'm going to end the poll. All right, we got 47 votes. You guys are awesome. And ever since Anna's been coming on, we've had some great chat of people in the chat. We've had a great crowd. You guys are fucking amazing. Dr. Lee says 4-1, right? No, I didn't actually, which I'm surprised. I would have picked number 4 personally, but no, it didn't. Okay, so in last place was number 1 with Anakin Said the Thing. In second last place, believe it or not, was actually number 4 with this badass rebel queen strikes deep into the hearts of haters who test her gangster. Or who test her gangster. And then runner-up in second place was number 2 with, thank you, Dave Filoni. Thank you. And the winner of this week's Seal of the Week was the HQ, Star Wars HQ. Wow. Ahsoka episode 4 was perfection. I'm not just saying that either. I really mean it. Absolutely blown away by this one. Hi. Hello. Man, that was the worst. That was the worst. Just as I'm about to bloody fucking do the seal of the week. Well, you know who won it. I got no tabs up anymore. It didn't give me those back. Yeah, I just lost power all of a sudden. But thank you guys for hanging out. We had a great audience here. We had a great chat. Fuck. That's spewing. Fucking spewing. Am I coming through? Yeah, all right. All right, that's pretty much it. Thanks again. Fuck, it's completely put me off. I went down to my laptop and I tried to get that fixed. That's why I now got fucking cat hair all over me. Let me just wrap this up here now because, of course, I need to now get ready to fucking go to Adelaide, which this has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works for me. But we got there in the end. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you to all the lurkers. Thank you to all the people that are rewatching the stream as well. If you do happen to come back and rewatch it, please do smash that like button. Greatly appreciate all of you. Thanks to all the people that did send super chats, to all the members. You guys are awesome. Let me just check my Streamlabs here before we do get out of here. No, we're all good over there. Yeah, hopefully next week we'll be able to have Anna back again, of course, and we can go through and break down episode 5 and obviously episode 6, 7, 8, and 6, 7, and 8. And it should be awesome. But you guys are awesome. Thanks to 36 of you for just hanging around, waiting to see what happened. Yeah. And I will see you at MozzaCon. If you're not subscribed to the Full Aussie channel, actually, let me get you the link for that. Where is it? Fuck, there's a heap of people live right now. There. If you're not subscribed to the Full Aussie channel, I'm going to drop that link in the chat now for you. So go and subscribe to the Full Aussie. We'll be doing some videos, probably some live streams, and some other stuff for MozzaCon. You guys are awesome. Yeah, we'll see you next week, and take care, everyone. We'll end this with the proper videos in the proper way. Thanks, guys. Adios.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off, Disney, you fucking cunt!
Why did that come through there? Hang on a second.
They came bounding over.
Fuck off, Disney, you fucking cunt!
That was weird. All right, see ya.
A few minutes? Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining?
No, what is it? You have to shoot this. Traveling through hyperspace is like dusting crops, kid. Without precise calculations, we fly too close to a store. They're bouncing to a supermarket and then...
Yeah.
It'd be a hell of a mess.
What's that?
Watch. You're losing your deflector shields. Go strap yourselves in. Be careful on the way out.
Yeah, sure. I'm taking it very cautiously.
You go away.
Bounce too near a supermarket?